Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Jeff and thank you for checking out my channel, Films at Home. I do a lot of Blu-ray and 4K reviews, collection updates, and just real cool movie collecting videos. So if you're into movies, if you collect Blu-rays, DVDs, and 4K titles, definitely hit that subscribe button. This is a channel you're going to want to follow. I put out tons of great content. Today is no exception. Today what we're doing is I have a 4K and Blu-ray collection update that I need to do. I have, this is gonna be tough, an entire stack of movies that I haven't reviewed yet, haven't talked about. Some of them are purchases, some of them are review copies that were sent from the studios. So I'll go through each one, talk a little bit about them, let you know if it's worth a pickup, and we'll just dive through this list and give you guys a nice little inside look at some new releases for April and May, and some stuff that you may want to pick up that I got some good deals on too. So let's play the intro and get started with this video. Okay, first up here, Saving Private Ryan, 4K. This is the 20th anniversary edition. You'll see if you click up here, I did a review on this that a lot of people really enjoyed, so definitely go check that out if you want a full review. The quick 30-second review is, this looks incredible. The 4K was awesome. The new Dolby Atmos track was awesome. And I can't say enough good things about it. It was only going for $20 on Amazon. There'll be a link down in my description that you can order this at. Definitely pre-order it if you can. Get your hands on this. And if you have a 4K TV and you're looking for something great for that format, Saving Private Ryan is right up there with stuff like The Dark Knight, Dunkirk, trying to think, Ex Machina was a really nice 4K, and then some of the Disney stuff, Guardians of the Galaxy, The Last Jedi. I mean, this is one of the best 4K discs that has been put out yet, so definitely grab this one. Highly, highly recommended. Alright, so next up here, another new 4K title. This is 50 Shades Freed, the last movie in the 50 Shades trilogy. Decent 4K on this, really nothing special. Again, the movie obviously didn't really care for it, but I mean, if you're into this, maybe your fiance or your girlfriend's into this, if they want to watch this and you have a 4K TV, it doesn't hurt to pick this up in 4K. Universal also sent me the Blu-ray, so I actually have both copies. I was able to do a comparison. 4K is much nicer. For the extra $3 if you're going to go buy this anyway, might as well find the 4K. I believe the other 50 Shades movies are also out in 4K, so you might just want to find the box set. And that might be an easier way to grab all the 4K discs so you don't just have one and then a couple Blu-rays. But either way, it's not really a movie that takes full advantage of the format, so you're going to be fine with either one of these. The cool thing is that since they sent me a Blu-ray and a 4K, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this Blu-ray up to people for a contest to give away. If you want to win this, I'll leave the rules down in the description. But basically, I don't know what I want. Alright guys, so next up here, 50 Shades Freed, the last movie in the 50 Shades trilogy. This is the 4K copy. Universal also sent me the Blu-ray, so you get a look at both packaging here. It does come with the unrated version. The 4K is a little bit better than the Blu-ray, but it's not a movie that's really going to take full advantage of the 4K format. There just isn't a lot of crazy visuals in this. This is clearly a little bit better, but you can't go wrong with either copy for this type of movie. Personally, I'd get the 4K just because I have all the equipment, but if you're trying to future-proof yourself, you don't have a 4K TV yet, you can go with the Blu-ray and that's just fine. One cool thing that I'm going to start doing here with this channel, so sometimes I do get sent a 4K and a Blu-ray. Now I obviously don't need the Blu-ray if I have the 4K. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a Patreon. Now I said I wouldn't do this, but what it's going to be is a little bit different. There won't be a content wall. There won't be a paywall for any of the content. But Patreon users who donate more than $5 a month are going to have the opportunity to get these shipped to them. Every month those people will be entered into a contest for any leftover Blu-rays I have, anything I upgraded from 4K. Usually it's 5 or 10 discs a month that I'm giving away. And so I'm going to leave a link to the Patreon down below. If you donate more than $5 a month to this channel, then what you have is you have an opportunity to win things like this. Every single month I'll put a contest out there. It'll be randomly drawn. But it's a cool kind of idea I had. You could also donate to the channel, but I think the Patreon is an easier way for me to manage that. but I'm not going to block any content. It's just going to be for those of you who want to engage with me and win some free movies. So definitely check that out. Next up here, this is kind of funny. I got this in from MVD Visual. This is Bruce's Deadly Fingers. Now you'll notice it says starring Bruce Lee, missing an E, right? So after Bruce Lee died, basically there were all these, they were called Bruce-sploitation films, and a bunch of people went by different names, like Bruce Lee, and they would basically just star in the similar type movies to try to take advantage of Bruce Lee's popularity. This is one of those movies. This is a new 2K scan, original from the 35mm negatives. It really looks nice. MVD did a nice job with this. If you haven't heard of them, go look them up, but they distribute Arrow Video in the US, and they kind of branch out and do some of their own titles sometimes. Really cool case. On the inside, you got a couple nice disc art pieces in there, and then you also have a reversible sleeve right here. So, you know, pretty cool overall, but not a great movie, but an interesting one to have in your collection because of the history. Next up here from Magnolia Pictures as well is Please Stand By Me. Sorry, Please Stand By. Stand By Me is a different movie. This is Please Stand By. Dakota Fanning basically plays this woman with autism who's trying to prove to her family, you know, that she can make it in the world. She's a big Star Trek fan, hears about this Star Trek screenplay competition, and ends up writing a 500-page script for it. Now, I won't give too much else away about it, but it's a really kind of quirky, independent film. Really, really great acting from Dakota Fanning. I'm actually surprised that somebody like A24 didn't pick this up. Seems like it's something that's right up their alley, but Magnolia also does a great job with independent films, and this was actually a really good movie. I really enjoyed it, and if you can find it for a good price, I definitely recommend picking it up. Sometimes you'll find these Magnolia titles drop pretty quickly in price after release, so I wouldn't say get it on release day at $20, but if you can find it for 10 or 12 later on Amazon, definitely a good pickup at that price point. Another cool thing I got in here, this is from RLJE Entertainment, but it's actually kind of a bigger movie for them. It's I Kill Giants with Zoe Saldana and Madison Wolfe. From the creators of Harry Potter, like it says, it's kind of this fantasy world movie. Stars Madison Wolfe from The Conjuring 2. If you've seen The Conjuring 2, she's pretty good in that. And it's based on the graphic novel, so if you've read the novel and you're interested in this kind of, it's almost feels a little bit like Attack on Titan, something like that. I mean, they're basically fighting giants, you know what I mean? It's crazy, and there's this destruction. So it reminded me of Attack on Titan because of the same kind of style. But if you're into the graphic novel, the movie I actually think did a pretty good job. It didn't get a whole lot of hype, but it was pretty faithful to the book, and the cast did a great job. So RLJE Entertainment, these titles are usually going to run you about $15 on release day. I recommend picking this one up as well, but only if you've read it. If you're not a huge fan, probably not worth a blind buy. It's kind of hard to get into if you don't know the source material, but maybe for $5 down the line, if you can find it, it's worth a blind buy at that price. Next up here, I got a couple more review titles from bigger studios, Warner Brothers, Universal, and Lionsgate. This one is from Lionsgate. This is Winchester. Helen Mirren stars in this. It's kind of your classical haunted house ghost story. It's really nothing special. I actually thought it was kind of slow at times, but not in a good way. Helen Mirren, it's kind of a weird role for her, but not terrible. Inspired by true events. Didn't really get a lot at the box office. Reviews were kind of poor, so not one that I'd recommend. It's really nothing special, and the Blu-ray is just average, so it's nothing that's going to blow you away. Again, find it in the bargain bin in a few months, and at that point, I think it's worth a blind buy. Unless you really like this movie, you can go grab it on release day. Next one here is from Warner Brothers. This is 12 Strong with Chris Hemsworth. I was actually surprised to see him star in a movie that's kind of smaller like this, considering how big a star he is at this point in time, and with, you know, obviously the Avengers and everything. But basically, this is about this group of guys who jump into Afghanistan right after 9/11. They're literally fighting on horseback. It's craziness, but it's all a true story. Really one of those like American hero type stories, like 13 Hours, or I'm trying to think of something else, but you know, stuff like Hacksaw Ridge, and just kind of tells the story of these really courageous people that maybe don't get as much recognition as the bigger names. I actually really liked this one. I thought the sound was really good, visuals were really good. Chris Hemsworth, it's cool to see him in something like this. You don't, you know, how many times have you seen him outside of Thor in the last few years? You know, he's been so occupied with that character, but it's really nice to see him in this. He did a really good job, and it's definitely an interesting story if you're into history and definitely recent events. This is a cool movie to check out. Next couple I have, so different studios, Warner Brothers and Universal, but here's two very goofy horror sequels for you. First up is Deep Blue Sea 2. Did this movie need to be made? No. Is this movie good? No. The Blu-ray's fine. Picture and audio, just about standard stuff. You got a 5.1 track, decent Blu-ray video quality as well. But the movie is just really goofy. It feels like something that would have come off of the Sci-Fi Channel. It's definitely like a B movie. Deep Blue Sea, the original, is obviously much better. If you're into that one, you know, this is an interesting follow-up. 19 years, you know, after the first kind of experiment to genetically alter the sharks, they kind of follow up on that here. But just not very good. Again, I think this is going to be a bargain bin title pretty soon. You should be able to find this for $5 or $10. And at that price point, if you're a horror fan and you like Deep Blue Sea, it's worth a shot. But, you know, there are much better shark movies out there. There's The Shallows, even 47 meters down. And then obviously stuff like Jaws, which is just blows this away. I mean, this is on the same level as like Sharknado, in my opinion. The effects and stuff are obviously a lot better. It's a higher budget movie, but not by much. So that's kind of what you're getting into with that one. And then from Universal, it's amazing that this series is still going, but this is Tremors 5, Cold Day in Hell. Jamie Kennedy's back, and, you know, it's just insane. I mean, it's a goofy movie again. It's like something off the Sci-Fi Channel. At this point, you know, what else can you do with Tremors? There have been so many. Even the first one was basically a goofy B movie, and now when you're on the 5th sequel and Jamie Kennedy is starring, you know, you're really getting pretty strange. It's a classic B movie. If you like Tremors, you're gonna want to pick this up. I mean, it's a no-brainer to continue the series. It's just, you know, you have some horror series like Saw. Okay, Saw 5, was it goofy? Yeah, it was as good as the original Saw? No, but like, it was a movie. This is really pretty goofy because the original is B movie enough. This is almost like a C movie. I mean, it's kind of a joke, but honestly, it's pretty funny. I mean, there are times when I was laughing just because of the absurdity. So if you're into Tremors, you like collecting horror movies, you might be able to find this for 15 bucks on release day, and at that price point, it's not too bad. But again, this is one I think you'll be able to find for $5 or $10 in the next couple of months. So I'd hold off until that point and grab it at a cheaper price, and then it's kind of worth it. Got another review copy here from Universal. This is Mary and the Witch's Flower. So this is directed by, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but his name is Hiromasa Yanubiyashi. Could have killed his name right there, so I apologize if I did. But he was the director of When Marmee Was There, and he was also a lead animator on Spirited Away. So that's where he, you know, got a lot of his kind of credit in Japanese animation. That's where a lot of his cred comes from. And this is a movie it's very similar to Studio Ghibli stuff. This is actually from Studio Ponok, as you'll see on the top. But it is part of the G Kids series, and you know, it's a classic Japanese kind of animation. It's the colors are beautiful, the animation's very well done. It kind of tells this mythical fantasy story. You know, it's not as good as Spirited Away. It's not as good as some of the other Ghibli stuff, but it's actually a pretty good entry, and if you're into that genre and you really enjoy Japanese animation, I would check this one out. You can get this from Universal, I would guess for pretty cheap too, since it's not a major catalog title that they're releasing. So, you know, if this is your thing, definitely worth a pickup. And then here from Well Go USA, I have Along with the Gods, The Two Worlds. Well Go USA is a very famous American distributor of a lot of Asian cinema. They're doing a lot of Korea lately. I'm not exactly sure where this one is from, but it's basically the story about a firefighter who's taken to the afterlife by 3 guardians, and then he has this kind of 7 trials he has to pass. It almost feels like it's got a little bit of a Hercules vibe with like the trials that he has to go through before he kind of lives his perfect life. I mean, it's not as good. It's a strange movie. It's got a lot of the martial arts, kind of classic Japanese, Korean style, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's got a lot of that to it, where there's people flying around and there's a lot of great fight scenes, but it's also got a fantasy kind of mythical background to it. Interesting movie. I think you'll be able to find this for $10 pretty soon. It may even be that cheap on release day. It's obviously not a big name title, but again, if you're into the Korean, Japanese, Chinese cinema, stuff like that, the Asian cinema, Well Go USA is the place to look. And, you know, this is kind of a fun action movie if you're into it and you can find it for a good price. I don't see any harm in buying it. It's just not personally something that's really up my alley, and I wouldn't grab it myself, but you guys might be different, so if that's your thing, not a bad choice. All right, last but not least here, I have a couple of titles that were purchased by me and one that was actually sent to me by one of our subscribers here, which is really cool. To start, this is the 80s Overdrive collection. 6 movies in this. I found this on Amazon. It was only $15, so you're talking 6 Blu-ray movies. They just come in, like, you know, standard cases. This one has 4 movies in it, and then the other 2 movies are in their own case. But they're good flicks. You got Legend of Billie Jean, Nikita, Hard Bodies, Spring Break, Perfect, and Private Resort. Some really goofy classic 80s action movies and just kind of funny comedies and things like that. You know, Perfect has John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis in it. You've got Sidney Poitier in Little Nikita. You know, it's actually not a bad set when you're looking at it. I personally don't know a lot about these movies, and I haven't watched most of them yet. But for $15 to grab 6 Blu-rays, I mean, you work that out, that's, you know, $2.50 a piece. Hard to beat that unless you're at a dollar store. So it comes in a nice box set. Like I said, it's kind of a nice little collection. For 15 bucks, it's a no-brainer. So if you can still find this, it was out of stock when I bought it, came back in stock. I finally got it shipped to me after a month of waiting. But if they have more copies and they're still around $15, $20, definitely worth a shot if you're into that kind of movie. Next up here, this is Suspiria. This is the new 4K restoration from Synapse Films. I didn't get the Steelbook, I didn't get the special edition, I just got the standard edition from Bull Moose. They had it for about $28, so it's a pricey movie even to get the standard edition. I believe the Next Level Up was $35, and the Steelbook I swear I've seen go for $60, so it's definitely pricey. But I heard about the new remake coming out from the director, I forget his name, but he did Call Me By Your Name, Luca something, and he released footage for the new Suspiria with Dakota Johnson from the 50 Shades series at CinemaCon, and people went absolutely nuts. Apparently it was very disturbing, very violent. He like put it out there right before lunch and people were getting physically sick from it. So it's really a screwed up movie. And same with the original here from Dario Argento. I mean, it's a really messed up movie. And, you know, I've heard a lot about it, and I hadn't actually seen it yet, but this new information about the remake had me interested. So I picked this up from Bull Moose, checked out the 4K restoration, and it's incredible. They did such a good job remastering this for Blu-ray. One of the better things that I've seen from that time era. This is from 1977, so you're talking about, you know, 40 plus years old, and the movie looks like it could have been made 10 years ago. It looks like it could have been made yesterday sometimes. I mean, the Dario Argento is obviously like a genius when it comes to horror movies, and this is probably his best one in my opinion. It's up there with a few others, but it's probably the best in my opinion, and Synapse did such a great job restoring it for Blu-ray. Props to them. You know, it's worth every cent of the $28 I paid for it, and if you want to get some special editions, find the Steelbook, find the collector's edition. There's some great options out there, but with the remake coming out, it's a good time to pick this up because I have a feeling that these will go fast once that movie picks up some steam and people start looking for the original based on how controversial it's been. So definitely highly recommended. Great transfer, great audio. Everything was amazing, and of course the movie's incredible. Last one here, like I said, this was sent to me by a follower on Instagram and a subscriber of the YouTube channel. So huge thanks to him. I'm not going to put his real name out there, but he's CamSkittles18 on Instagram, and he just contacted me. He said, hey, I have an extra copy of Donnie Darko from Arrow Video. You know, do you want it? I'll ship it to you. And I said, of course. You know, I love Arrow Video stuff. He'd seen some of my videos where I have a few other Arrow Video titles in my collection. Shipped this out to me a couple days later. You know, it's a great release. It has a new 4K restoration here from the original negatives. It's so well done. I had the other Blu-ray, the standard Blu-ray I've had for a while. I actually have a cool kind of Comic-Con slip on it from 2013, I want to say. So it's a limited edition title. I definitely won't get rid of it, but this is a much bigger improvement in terms of picture quality, audio, special features. Everything that goes into this title from Arrow was incredible. And so I just wanted to thank him for sending this to me. That's really cool. If anybody else ever had something they wanted to send me, get it on a video, you know, definitely just send me a message, leave me a comment here. I'm happy to accept anything from you guys and talk about it in a video. I love getting stuff from subscribers and followers. So this was really cool. Huge props to Cam for sending this out. And I really appreciate it. Love having this in my collection. It's one that I really wanted. I just couldn't justify double dipping. So even better when somebody says, hey, I got an extra copy, it's yours. You know, that's just amazing. So that's why I love the community. All subscribers and followers, you guys are great. But Cam gets a special shout out for this one. This was really cool. Alright guys, so that's about it. That was every movie in this stack. Just went through all of them. Definitely let me know what you guys plan on picking up. There's some really great stuff coming out in the next few months. I'm excited to get into Black Panther. I'm excited to go check out Solo in theaters. You know, there's some really exciting movies that are coming out on Blu-ray and in theaters as we get into the summer season. So I'll try to do some more videos around that stuff, get some more content out to you all. Maybe do some more theatrical reviews so you kind of know what to look for over the summer that's in theaters. But yeah, I appreciate everybody watching. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Make sure you play with the notifications. YouTube changed the notifications on me. So definitely play around with those. If you want to see my videos every day, just go down and select that option. Pretty easy to do. Otherwise, you know, thank you for subscribing. Find me on Instagram. Find me on Twitter. I'll leave links down in the description. Follow me on there. Say hi, say what's up. You know, I do giveaways. I do other things on Instagram and Twitter sometimes that don't make it to the YouTube channel, so you're going to want to check those out. And yeah, just if you want to donate, there'll be a link down below, or you can go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. And like I said, you'll have a chance every month. I'll do a monthly drawing of Blu-ray discs that I can ship out to you all. And if you're one of the Patreon supporters who donates over $5 a month, then you are automatically entered into those giveaways. You have a chance to win a Blu-ray, possibly even a 4K title if I have some extras. So I'll post a list every month for Patreon supporters, and that's kind of a cool thing that I wanted to do for everyone who's been watching. So thanks for watching again, guys. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep collecting movies, keep having fun, and go watch some of my other videos.